Welcome along. The lights are on at Anfield tonight, and there's a very familiar feeling building around this famous stadium. A European night, a deficit to chase, and a ground that has seen it all before. Liverpool against Paris Saint-Germain in the second leg of this Champions League quarter-final. And the equation is simple enough. Liverpool start the night 2 goals down from the first leg in Paris, and they need something exceptional to turn this tie around. Good evening, welcome along. My name is Charlie McGuinness. I'll be your commentator tonight for this clash on Merseyside. There's an emotional flavour, the desire to progress, tangible across these 4 stands. A week ago in the French capital, they were second best. PSG controlled that game from start to finish. 74% of the ball, 18 shots to Liverpool's 3. And a performance that left Arne Slot's side chasing shadows for long spells. Desiree Doué on the score sheet, Kvicha Kvaratskhelia adding a second of real quality. And the reigning champions arrive here tonight with a 2-0 advantage that puts them firmly in control. So Liverpool know exactly where they stand, and it does feel like one of those nights where everything sharpens into focus. This hasn't quite been the season Liverpool would have wanted, not consistently, not at the level they expect of themselves. There have been moments, flashes, but not that a sustained authority you associate with this club at its best. And now, under the lights here, it comes down to this. A night that could end their Champions League campaign, and by proxy, their season, or a night that completely changes the way this campaign is remembered. If you're looking for a place to try and produce something like that, though, it is here. Anfield has a memory for these occasions. Dortmund in 2016, Barcelona in 2019, Roma, Manchester City. Nights where the situation looked beyond them, and somehow this stadium found a way to shift it. And Liverpool will need to tap into that again tonight. Arne Slot has been very clear in the build-up. He says his side will have to be very, very special, but just as importantly, very different, because the first thing they have to change is control. You cannot allow a side like PSG to dominate the ball in the way they did in the first leg. Slot himself spoke about it. 70% possession for Paris, and that is where this game begins tonight. Liverpool have to find a foothold, disrupt the rhythm, bring the game onto terms they can influence. Only then can they start to build any kind of pressure. The challenge, of course, is that this Paris side are exceptionally good at exactly that. They arrive here as the champions of Europe. And look, every bit of it. 6 wins from their last 7 away games in all competitions. 11 unanswered goals on the road since falling behind at Monaco. And a team that simply does not play quiet knockout matches. In fact, none of their 61 knockout fixtures in this competition has ever finished goalless. They carry threat all over the pitch. Kvicha Kvaratskhelia now with 5 in the knockout phase. Desiree Doué with 5 in his last 6 at this stage. Ousmane Dembele constantly drifting and finding space. Vitinha, who dictates the tempo in midfield. And Luis Enrique has made it clear they have not come here to sit on what they have. They will look to play, they will look to have the ball, and they will look to finish this tie. So Liverpool have that to deal with and still find a way to hurt them. There were signs at least at the weekend, the 2-0 win here against Fulham. Mohamed Salah on the score sheet, and a moment of real note as well. Rio Ungamoa, just 17 years and 225 days old, became the youngest Premier League goalscorer at Anfield. Another reminder of the talent coming through. Another option in an attacking sense. But tonight sits in a very different category, because it's about whether Liverpool can impose themselves on a tie that right now feels like it's already slipped away. Whether they can change the tempo, the balance, the expectation, the energy of it, and bring this stadium into the contest. And Anfield will have a role to play. Virgil van Dijk spoke in the programme about those European nights, about the connection between the team and the crowd, and how it can lift the level of a performance. You can sense that anticipation already inside the ground, with You'll Never Walk Alone reverberating around these 4 stands. They understand what's required here. They understand how difficult it is, but they also know what can happen on nights like this. So everything is set for a huge occasion. Liverpool chasing the tie, PSG in control, and a stadium waiting to see if it can witness another European turnaround. Let's bring you the team news with Arne Slot, and he's made some big calls tonight. He goes with both Alexander Isak and Hugo Ekitike up front. Isak making his first start since December, and just as in the first leg, Mohamed Salah is left on the bench. In total, 5 changes from the side that beat Fulham at the weekend. They line up with Mamardashvili in goal, a back four of Frimpong, Konate, Van Dijk and Kerkez. In midfield, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch and McAllister, with Florian Wirtz just ahead of them. And then the two up top, Ekitike alongside Isak. PSG, meanwhile, are unchanged from the side that won the first leg in Paris. That was their last game. They've had a week off, so much fresher legs in the Paris side tonight. Safonov starts in goal, Hakimi, Marquinhos, Pacho and Mendes in defence. Zaire Emery, Vitinha and Neves in midfield. And a front three of Doué, Dembele and Kvaratskhelia. So that's how the two sides shape up. A big evening for both of these two sides. You sense the pressure is more on Liverpool this evening. Arne Slot, after last season's heroics, his star has fallen a little. But before we kick off tonight, a moment that really reframes this and reminds us that football is just that. Tomorrow, on April the 15th, we will mark the 37th anniversary of the day that 97 Liverpool supporters went to Hillsborough in Sheffield for a FA Cup semi-final where they faced Nottingham Forest. That day, an awful crush saw 97 lose their life. In a moment that not just this city and this football club, but those up and down this country and across the football world as a community will never forget. An emotional moment, a pause for reflection before kick-off. The Kop paying tribute to those who departed far too soon 37 years ago tomorrow. And with that memory fresh in the mind, this ground comes alive once more. A roar, not just in memory of those who lost their lives, but those who now tread the path that they once trod. A famous European night, once again, on the cards on Merseyside. The ball on the centre spot. Liverpool need at least 2 without reply to take this any further. PSG, the holders with the advantage, kicking us off, playing from left to right in their change strip. Liverpool all in red. Strap in tonight, folks. It's set to be a big one. They are underway at Anfield. It's a wet and windy night on Merseyside. And a stadium that can really prove to be that mythical 12th man. So often they've dragged Liverpool through games, not just this season but throughout history. And it's the first touch of the ball for Hugo Ekitike, finds Szoboszlai, who floats one out to this left-hand side for Milos Kerkez, who's got forward down the flank. Has he kept it in play? The assistant referee doesn't believe so. Officials tonight, an Italian team led by Maurizio Mariani. Arne Slot is already a little bit frustrated with Daniele Bindoni down the touchline. He's one of the 2 men with the flags. Here's Kerkez. Prods that forward, away by Marquinhos. PSG with an early foray forward. Here's Dembele in the penalty area, clipped in towards the 6-yard line, and Konate's in the way. Really importantly, The clearance is up towards the centre circle as Pacho gets it forward. With Ousmane Dembele so difficult to keep tabs on, just in the way that he drifts around the pitch and in that final third. Zaire Emery playing a more familiar role in midfield. He's been asked to fill in at fullback recently. Click down the left-hand side for Kvaratskhelia. Frimpong trying to stay with him. Kvaratskhelia twisting and turning, finds a bit of space, pulls it back to the edge of the box. Zaire Emery with the effort. And that's flicked off the head of Virgil van Dijk. Goes over the crossbar for an early corner to Paris Saint-Germain. Wandering forward comes William Pacho. Marquinhos is lurking at the back post. They've taken it short, Paris. And towards the near post by Doué. That's away by Ekitike. Now Vitinha. Low drive. Ricochets away off Virgil van Dijk. Back out to that left-hand side. Here's the man of the hour, Desiree Doué. Kvaratskhelia, edge of the box. Shoots early. Bounces away from Mamardashvili, but he pounces on that quickly to make sure that there is no rebound for the Paris attackers to spring upon. Early ball downfield. Wirtz looking to link up with Alexander Isak. Almost been the forgotten man this season. It'll be a Paris throw-in on this right-hand side. So toss backwards to Marquinhos. It's across to the left. Into midfield, there's Dembele. Little back heel from Kvaratskhelia. Won't reach Dembele, instead it's Konate who's adding to the numbers in midfield at the moment. Back by Gravenberch to Mamardashvili, still without Alisson. And Liverpool. Some somewhat unfamiliar names on the bench this evening. Freddie Woodman, one of the two substitute goalkeepers. Cornel Miskia, the other. He's joined Amara Nallo, Andrew Robertson, Joseph Gomez, Curtis Jones, Trenioni, Cody Gakpo, Federico Chiesa, Mo Salah and Rio Ungamoa on the bench. For PSG, Lucas Chevalier and Renato Marin, the two substitute goalkeepers. Ilya Zabani, Lucas Baraldo, Luca Hernandez, Ro Fernandez, Kangin Lee, Selimayulu, Bradley Barcola, Gonzalo Ramos and Ibrahim Mbaye, the substitutes. Here's Ekitike on the edge of the penalty area, tried to use the outside of his boot to find Isak. That's away by Pacho. Now Gravenberch. Ekitike. To Konate. Mamardashvili to Van Dijk. Szoboszlai. It's floated out to the right-hand side for Frimpong. Bit of space in an attacking position for the Dutchman. Jeremy Frimpong stepping inside on the edge of the penalty area. Here's Florian Wirtz with the cross. Deflection. Carries it out of play. And the stand behind Safonov's goal erupts there with the first set-piece opportunity for Liverpool. Virgil van Dijk will be a threat from these kind of positions, as will Ibrahim Konate. In by Szoboszlai towards the near post. Good header from Isak, but it's too close to the goalkeeper, and Safonov can hold on to it in front of his near post. Long throw downfield. Gravenberch sprinting back towards his own penalty area. Mamardashvili has to scamper to the 6-yard line before clipping a left-footed ball down the left touchline. Kept in play by Wirtz. There's Kerkez. Those two have been linking up well in recent weeks. Towards the halfway line, too high for Ekitike. Trying to punch a hole through the PSG back line. Pacho, though. Here's Gravenberch. Now Frimpong. Laid off to Gravenberch again on that right-hand side. Liverpool trying to get off to a quick start here as Konate has to turn for home. Zamalashvili, too much on the pass forward. So on a slot, you can see exactly what he wants from his side. Taking up residence on the edge of that technical area already, just trying to weigh everyone forward. Frimpong trying to track Kvaratskhelia. PSG with all the cards already this evening. You can see they'll just try and keep the ball as much as possible. Marquinhos put under pressure by Vert. Simple pass down the right-hand side. We'll find Neves. Here is Vitinha. Now Zaire Emery. 3 red shirts around him. McAllister, one of them. Now Neves can turn. Laid off to his left. Forward goes Zaire Emery. It's back from Desiree Doué to Nuno Mendes. Vitinha again. He won't move very far from that position, just screening the PSG back four. Kvaratskhelia allowed to turn by Frimpong, finds Dembele. Immediate layoff to Zaire Emery. Now here is Doué, tries to poke it out to the right-hand side. That one is only as far as Kerkez. Tries to slip it into the centre circle for Isak, won't reach him. It's Vitinha again breaking things up. Zaire Emery finds Hakimi. Goes down the left-hand side again. Oh, maybe a bit of space for Dembele. He's turned it in behind the Liverpool back line. Keeper coming a long way out to the edge of the box, and he's done well there, Mamardashvili. An effort from range, and he had to recover. Mamardashvili pushed it away as he was sprinting back to his goal line. Threw a fist at it and got it away. Still, the danger isn't clear. Doué on the edge of the box. Now Vitinha. Pacho down the left-hand side. Here's Kvaratskhelia running at Frimpong. Couple of step-overs. Kvaratskhelia on the edge of the penalty area, looking for a shooting opportunity. Finds Vitinha. Back to Marquinhos. Doué on the half-turn. Got in a tangle with both Kerkez and here's Florian Wirtz with the ball for Liverpool. Solid defending from that pair against one of Europe's most in-form attackers. Has given away to Ekitike, links up with Isak. Ekitike now putting the pressure on Pacho. Big test of Alexander Isak's fitness tonight. Finally back and available to Arne Slot. A little bit too late to, you might say, save the season. They can still qualify for the Champions League. Looks like well, it's almost confirmed actually, the English Premier League will have 5 Champions League places. So if they finish where they sit currently, a point ahead of Chelsea, who is sitting 6th, they will be part of the Champions League next year. Was given away to Kerkez, but the touch was too heavy from the Hungarian. Swept across by Marquinhos to Vitinha. Kvaratskhelia straight back to Vitinha. Zaire Emery wants it in the centre circle, and instead it's wide to the left-hand side for Mendes. Now back to Kvaratskhelia. We'll see a lot of the ball, Vitinha. It's across to Pacho, just inside their own half of the pitch. Now Marquinhos tried the long ball forward, got that wrong, and it's too close to Mamardashvili, who will scoop it up from the edge of his 18-yard box. Underway tonight as Barcelona have a lot of work to do against an Atletico Madrid side that scored 2 at the Spotify Camp Nou last week. Reduced to 10, weren't they, Barcelona? There is good news from a Barca perspective coming from the Wanda Metropolitano, and Lamine Yamal has opened the scoring. They lead 1-0 on the night. Set up by Ferran Torres after just 4 minutes. Mendes with the throw-in down that left-hand side for PSG. Powerful head away by Konate. Tomorrow night, 2 more Champions League second legs. Real Madrid trailing Bayern Munich 2-1 on aggregate as they make the trip to the Allianz, and Sporting Lisbon with a short hop across to London. They'll feel a little bit hard done by. They were, in many assessments, the better side in the first leg against Arsenal. Didn't really take their chances. Mamardashvili just outside his own box, to his left to find Kerkez. Now here's Szoboszlai, almost in the quarterback role there, finds McAllister out to the left for Wirtz, tries to step inside away from Neves. McAllister, Kerkez, Konate, here's Ekitike. Smuggle that past Neves, but he's going to latch onto the return ball from McAllister. Holds onto it on the edge of the PSG penalty area. Now finds Frimpong in space down the right-hand side. Opportunity to cross for Frimpong. High towards the back post, too high for Isak. Will be kept alive, though, by Milos Kerkez. Up against Hakimi here, Kerkez twisting. Shuffles it onto his left into the near post, and it's patted down by Safonov. Hakimi again to Neves. Hakimi taken away from Wirtz. There's Szoboszlai. Doué. Get forward towards Vitinha. Taken away by Van Dijk. No foul, says the referee. That's strong from Virgil van Dijk on Desiree Doué. Into the middle for McAllister. A little bit of space here for the Argentina international. Alexis McAllister felt he was tugged by Kvicha Kvaratskhelia, and the referee agrees. That'll be a free kick for Liverpool. Mariani, that was the whistle. It's been a pretty free-flowing game so far. 15 minutes gone. Alexis McAllister standing over it. It's just outside the centre circle, right in the middle. It's played along the deck to Szoboszlai. He'll loop it in. Van Dijk nods it to the edge of the box. Gravenberch tried the spectacular. Safonov was under pressure, punches it away. Isak was jumping with him, nodding back towards the 6-yard box by Konate, and no one there to challenge the Paris Saint-Germain goalkeeper. Just hold on to it. Mendes tries to release Dembele. Mamardashvili is first to it, out near the corner flag, and Dembele's going to take the throw in quickly. Kvaratskhelia to the edge of the box, scoops it up, running onto it. Neves juggles. Dembele tried to spin on it, took it away from João Neves. I think he was in an offside position anyway, Ousmane Dembele. And Luis Enrique can't believe that, because João Neves, with a lovely bit of skill, he wasn't Ousmane Dembele. He couldn't keep it down, Dembele. It was clearly Neves' chance, though. He was hungry for it, Dembele. And that's how perilous Liverpool's position is. One goal would probably do it for PSG tonight. It's Gravenberch. Ekitike on the left. That's laid off to Kerkez. Into Gravenberch, escapes Pacho, tried to slip it through to Isak. That was intercepted by Zaire Emery. Nice ball forward by Kvaratskhelia on the half turn. Here's Dembele on the left-hand side. Support starting to arrive. Zaire Emery, back to Kvaratskhelia on the left-hand side. Vitinha into the centre circle. Now Hakimi. Back to Marquinhos. Pacho. Forward by Mendes. That's held up by Kvaratskhelia. We had Virgil van Dijk snapping at his heels and breathing down his neck, but unfairly, says Maurizio Mariani. He's holding his face as well, Kvaratskhelia. I'm not sure there was any contact there, but we'll have a look at the replay. Jeremy Frimpong, who had a hold of Kvaratskhelia, and it was Virgil van Dijk who stepped in to make the challenge. There was just a brush of the arm, I think, across Kvaratskelia's face. Free kick near halfway. And it's Vitinha that'll take it. Forward by Marquinhos, down the right-hand side, João Neves wins the throw-in. Back with Safonov. Florian Wirtz tried to keep that in play on the near side. It's unsuccessful. It'll be a throw-in for Paris. Safonov will take the resulting free kick. There was a slightly sloppy chance. I think it was offside, in fact, on Alexander Isak. 20 minutes gone at Anfield, still no change to the scoreline. Down the right-hand side, that's away by Kerkez. Now is Szoboszlai. Kerkez forward, Isak jumping with it. Marquinhos with the header away. Here's Mendes. Storming into Liverpool territory. Clips a nice floating left-footed pass out to Hakimi on the right-hand side. Prods it forward. Here is Desiree Doué level with the edge of the box. Played backwards to Neves. Neves back to the centre circle, William Pacho. Vitinha alongside him to his left. We've reached the 20-minute mark at Anfield, which is the moment we've deemed to pay tribute to Diogo Jota. Lost his life in an awful car accident in the summer of last year. Number 20 was his squad number at Liverpool, and every single game here this season has been marked by this applause. It's helped to put a little bit of perspective on Liverpool's struggles this year. So many of these players have lost not just a teammate but a friend, colleague. As Gravenberch bursting forward, slips it through. Alexander Isak tries to tip it past Safonov, and the flag goes up on the far side. But that's how they're trying to undo PSG here. A little glimpse of what Alexander Isak can bring. Oh, it's very tight. Did really well, Safanov. And Pacho with a presence of mind to flick it away. Kirkes, Szoboszlai, McAllister, Szoboszlai on the halfway line again. Tries to float that cross field to Frimpong on the far side. It's Pacho. Vitinha in the centre circle. Zaire-Emery. It's possessed by Gravenberg. McAllister looking for a through ball to feed Frimpong. It's Pacho across. And he has to settle for the throw-in. Took a touch off a Liverpool player on the way out of play, so it's Mendes who'll take the throw-in. In fact, it's quickly back to him by Zaire-Emery. Now they can switch the play out to Dembele on this right-hand side. Getting forward, Hakimi. Forward by Mendes. Kvaratskhelia, that's against Frimpong. Another throw-in taken by Doué. Midway through the Liverpool half at the moment. Kvaratskhelia on that left-hand side. William Pacho has played more minutes than any other defender in the Champions League this season. Just on the right-hand side, Dembele, cross-field. Doué couldn't quite take it with him. He's just slightly behind the young man, and the first touch was just a bit behind him. Kvaratskhelia finds Neves. Frimpong uses his body cleverly to just get in Neves' way. He waits for the whistle, it comes in the end, and that'll be a free kick for Liverpool. Going to have to ride their luck at times, Liverpool. But so far so good from Arne Slot's team. They don't have the goal they've been looking for, but I can bring you further news from the Wanda Metropolitano in the Spanish capital, where there has been a change to the scoreline, and it's taken Barcelona just 24 minutes to level the tie. Ferran Torres, who set Lamine Yamal up for the opener, has got on the score sheet himself. It's Atletico Madrid 0, Barcelona 2. That means it's 2 apiece on aggregate. You never know what the Champions League will throw up. There's Marquinhos. Hakimi took a flick off Wirtz. Kirkes. Decent control in front of Dembele. Now Wirtz trying to find Ekitike. That's going to be pulled back. The referee has spotted something. Liverpool were about to combine on the edge of the penalty area. There were 3 around them. Ekitike, Isak and Florian Wirtz all close to it. I think they believe the ball went out of play. Arne Slot was about to take it down, but it was always curling away from him. Assistant referee had a best look of it and passed on the message to the referee Maurizio Mariani. It's Doué. Held by Szoboszlai. That's good work from Kirkes. Tried to find Ekitike, who lost his footing. He's just holding that ankle as well. Seemed a little bit awkward from the Frenchman. It's a tug back from Desiree Doué on Kerkez. Van Dijk takes the free kick. Ekitike is still down. He's feeling his right knee, and this could be a horrible moment for him. In fact, a significant number of PSG players are surrounding him and trying to keep that leg stable. It just seemed like he lost his footing off the ball. And Arne Slot has already turned to the bench. Mohamed Salah looks like he's being prepared to come on, and Hugo Ekitike well, they're calling for the stretcher. Let's have a little look at this. It was an early ball from Dominic Szoboszlai, spotted Ekitike in a little bit of space, and as he tried to push away there, Ekitike, he just couldn't quite get the purchase on the surface he required. And this looks like it's going to be an early exit for Hugo Ekitike. He's a former Paris Saint-Germain man himself. Former colleague of a few of these players here. Achraf Hakimi's just squatting close to him. And it's nice to see the professional concern from the opponents for Hugo Ekitike, who in many ways has been one of Liverpool's best players this season. All the headlines are around the £125 million spent for Alexander Isak. In came Hugo Ekitike as well, rather quietly in comparison. And it's been pretty effective, 11 goals this season in the Premier League. Arne Slot just passing on the instructions. This could be a big moment. Mo Salah confirmed that he would be leaving the club at the end of the season. His contract's up. He had the chance against Manchester City to at least get his final FA Cup goal. He missed that opportunity, a save by James Trafford in what was a day to forget for Liverpool supporters. That 4-0 dropping ended their hopes of domestic silverware. But Mo Salah, who's been their hero year upon year in ties like this, will come on to replace Hugo Ekitike. We do wish him a speedy recovery, but it is the case that so often those kind of injuries, the most innocuous ones, are often the worst. The former Paris Saint-Germain striker Hugo Ekitike off, and on comes Mo Salah. Szoboszlai takes the free kick short. Kerkez now. Szoboszlai needs to be careful. Under a bit of pressure from Dembele. Back to Mamardashvili. Hung high up towards Van Dijk, who stayed forward. Now it's out on the right for Salah. Left-footed ball into the penalty area. There's Konate. Can they bundle it home? Van Dijk. Double save by Safanov. Marquinhos as well, who sat in the 6-yard box bellowing in joy at the Paris supporters behind Safanov's goal. Fantastic goalkeeping. Safanov prevented the first. It's Marquinhos with a superb challenge to deny Virgil van Dijk. Salah's corner, looped into the penalty area, poked up in the air by Safanov. Kerkez tried to lash it towards the opposite corner. It's all the way out of play on the far side. How about that? That was the chance that Liverpool have been looking for. It was almost Kerkez who grabbed the opener. Reactions from Marquinhos. Van Dijk gets to it first. Marquinhos gets in the way. And a word of acknowledgement as well from Virgil van Dijk to his opposite captain. In appreciation for that defensive work. It's brilliant. It's just brilliant from Marquinhos. It'll be a throw-in for the left-back position for Paris Saint-Germain. Nuno Mendes with the ball in his hands. It's all the way down the touchline and straight back out of play. Dominic Szoboszlai takes the throw-in. Into Konate. Back to Mamardashvili. Has to clear it. A little bit of an awkward contact for the goalkeeper. Vietz has lost it. McAllister can't grab it. Here's Dembele with the layoff. Hakimi getting forward. Swept across by Marquinhos to Pacho. And now Marquinhos loops one out towards the left-hand side. Zaire-Emery. That's a foul by Jeremy Frimpong, according to the referee. A few thousand around the ground certainly disagree with Maurizio Mariani's assessment of that challenge from Jeremy Frimpong. An arm on the shoulder of Kvaratskhelia. He's back and doing some defending. Konate holding up Kvaratskhelia. Well, last year, under Arne Slot, Liverpool won 74.4% of their games. That's until they crashed out of the Champions League on penalties to this exact opposition. The first 43 games under Arne Slot. Since that point, in the last 59, they've won just 49% of them. Their loss rate has trebled. Doué to the penalty area, to Hakimi. Pacho, Vitinha, Dembele, Kvaratskhelia again. Tries the shot from the edge of the box, and that's off Konate and behind for a corner. We're into the last 10 minutes of this first half. Still Liverpool 0. Paris Saint-Germain 0 at Anfield. Madrid have pulled one back against Barcelona at the Metropolitano. Ademola Lookman with a goal. Salah picks it off on the edge of the box. Vietz finds Frimpong. That's behind Mo Salah. Poor pass from Jeremy Frimpong. Slip forward. Here's Doué on the left-hand side. Held up by Kerkez out there. It's nice footwork. Flicks off the back of Frimpong. Van Dijk away from the edge of the box. McAllister tries to nod it further clear. Mendes. Pacho. Now Neves. Hakimi. To Neves. To Hakimi on the right-hand side. Gravenberch in the way, so it's back into the middle for Vitinha. Recycled back to Marquinhos. Cross to Mendes. It's held up by Doué. He finds Kvaratskhelia. Vitinha in the middle again. And fizzes that backwards. Here's Pacho. Marquinhos. It's clipped out of play. Arne Slot plays ball boy. And that's Milos Kerkez. Started to play with urgency. They've had one big chance denied by a combination of Matvei Savinov and Marquinhos. And they're going to be forced into a change here as well, it seems. I think it's Nuno Mendes who's down for PSG, and he's now back on his feet, but tracing his way to the touchline. Looks like the end of the evening for the Portuguese fullback. Luca Hernandez is going through his paces down below us, getting ready to come on. Confirmation of the change just coming through now. Nuno Mendes off, and on comes Luca Hernandez. His former side of Atletico Madrid up against it at the moment, and on the Metropolitano. It's his 98th appearance for PSG tonight. French international. For 2 minutes in the first leg. All 90 in Ligue 1 against Toulouse. He also featured for France against Colombia in the international break. Just on for the bench. That 2-1 win over Brazil. Salah. Wirtz. Right hand side is Florian Wirtz, edge of the box. Salah tries to sort his feet out. Mo Salah back out to Wirtz on the right hand side. Salah again. Kvaratskhelia, that's gone out of play. It'll be a corner. Well, it's a different prospect now, both to defend against the PSG and to try and create chances for Liverpool. They would have trained all week with that front two. Salah operating a bit wider than Ekitike was. It's going to be Mo Salah to take the corner kick from that far side. Salah's ball drilled in towards the near post, low and flat, away by Vitinha, straight back out to Salah. Here's Gravenberch, corner of the penalty area now. Finds a bit of space, Gravenberch into the box, tries the cut back. It's a poor pass in the end and it's poked clear. And now they've got a chance to break here, Paris. They don't quite have the numbers yet. Doué's been held up by Szoboszlai. It was quite literally referee right on top of it, though. And they've got the advantage, Paris. Kvaratskhelia with a layoff. Marquinhos down the right-hand side for Hakimi. Marquinhos again. Across to Pacho. Pacho's clearance only reached Gravenberch near halfway. In front of Kvaratskhelia. And now he's on the ball, the Georgian. Vitinha tried to find him. A little bit behind him and an awkward fall by Kvaratskhelia. Away by Frimpong, looking for Wirtz or Isak. Instead it's Neves that takes it down for Paris. Here's Hakimi. Right hand side Dembele. Edge of the box, little bit of space for Neves. Vitinha tried the cheeky chip. Mamardashvili could just hold on to that. And Kvaratskhelia well placed too. Back for Hernandez. Safonov. Hakimi plays it against Kerkez. Throw in for Paris Saint-Germain on the right hand side. Both managers very animated in their respective technical areas. The opening 42 minutes here. It's Frimpong with a header. PSG tried to switch it. Frimpong read the play well. Salah's given it away though, and now here's William Pacho. Kvaratskhelia. Away by Hernandez. There's Konate. It's there in front of Doué. Mamardashvili finds Kerkez. Bisects Dembele and Hakimi. But it's going to come back to Ousmane Dembele here. Now here is Vitinha. Slips it around the corner. Hakimi pulled back. Dembele denied by Konate. Sliding in front of his international colleague to make sure that it stays at 0-0. Vitinha's ball. Mamardashvili says he kept it in play. The assistant referee says it went out of play anyway, so it will be a goal kick. Quickly spotted up and taken by Mamardashvili. Finds Konate, now Szoboszlai. Frimpong on the right-hand side, slips it down the touchline. Here's McAllister, first-time layoff. Gravenberch wasn't expecting it. Lost his footing. Doué. Vitinha. Here's Kvaratskhelia running now at Frimpong in the penalty area. Lifts it towards the back post. Mamardashvili punches it up, but not away. Dembele with the side-footed effort on the volley. That's into the side, netting. Another goal kick for Mamardashvili. I think probably rushed that goal kick, and hence the almost immediate pressure applied by PSG. This one's going to go long from Mamardashvili. He's made that very clear this time as we enter the final minutes of the 45. Engrossing first half at Anfield. Not much is clear, even if the chances haven't necessarily been very clear-cut for either of the two sides. And it will forward Salah. Latches onto a loose touch from Pacho. Looks at the referee as he went to ground in the penalty area. The touch was a bit too heavy from the Egyptian initially. Now Doué's on the other end. Liverpool looking for a flag. Doué ripples the side netting. I think the flag never came on Desiree Doué. We've got something to look at both ends. Well, he was certainly offside, Desiree Doué. Stepped up to Kerkez and Van Dijk. Question is, was it a foul on Mo Salah? No, there's nothing in that for me. Plus, it's outside the 18-yard box anyway. It's just slightly too heavy a touch from Mohamed Salah. Wasn't quite expecting the ball to come his way there. William Pacho, usually so assured. Just bumped against each other there. We'll have 4 minutes of added time before half-time at Anfield. Frimpong, McAllister, Kerkez. Forward towards Isak. Chested away by Marquinhos. McAllister all over the back of Neves. Sliding in goes McAllister out on that far side. He thought that was a clean challenge. It looked it to me as well, but the referee has a different view. Maurizio Mariani brandishes the yellow card at Alexis McAllister. Let's have a little look at the challenge. No, I'm not sure actually. Neves just shifted away in time and has actually struck the arm of Alexis McAllister as his momentum has carried him into Neves over the touchline. A good spot from the official. Neves. Flicked forward. And Desiree Doué's offside. Frimpong's going to leave it to Ibrahim Konate. I think actually Georgi Mamardashvili will take this set piece from out on that right flank. into PSG territory. Thumping header away by Vitinha. That'll be a throw-in for Konate. Frimpong, in fact, going to take it. So options down the touchline. Alex for Isak. That's Frimpong. Gravenberch lost control. Kvaratskhelia was trying to punch a hole through. Doué. He's bumped into the back of Szoboszlai. Another set piece for Liverpool. Konate. I'm not sure Van Dijk wanted that with Dembele just a couple of metres away. And now Szoboszlai can't really get it under his spell. He had Zaire Emery all over him. Now the flag goes up. Sloppy end to this first half. Wandering across to that left-hand side goes Lucas Hernandez. He's in no rush to take this set piece. Those PSG supporters, wherever they go, they generate quite the noise. And the same is to be said tonight. They were in here hours before kick-off, I've got to say. A little bit alien to the locals, but it's how they do things, Paris and their followers. Kerkez with the header away. Well, a cry of anguish from the PSG player he was jumping over. I think it was who's that down? Looks like it's Desiree Doué. Kerkez did well. It's a strong challenge aerially. As Wirtz runs straight into Kvaratskhelia, lashed away by Konate, taken down by Szoboszlai in the middle. Now here's Florian Wirtz. Salah to Wirtz. Possession handed back to Paris. Now with Dembele. Salah trying to make amends. Dembele, 30 yards from goal. Referee looks at his watch. Allowed to continue. Dembele loses control. The referee brings us to an end. And the first half finishes with no change to the scoreline. Milos Kerkez denied by a wonderful save from Safanov, and then Virgil van Dijk on the follow-up. Shut down by the Paris Saint-Germain captain Marquinhos. It's the game we expected. All energy from both sides. Liverpool chasing that opening goal. But as yet, neither defence has been broken. Still don't look at the boys as they head down the tunnel at Anfield, where at half-time it's Liverpool 0, Paris Saint-Germain 0. Welcome back to Anfield. Well, the noise hasn't dipped and the sense of occasion certainly hasn't either. Still goalless on the night, but the task remains the same for Liverpool. They're chasing two and they've got 45 minutes to find them. It's been a half full of energy, edge and no shortage of incident. Far brighter from Arne Slot's side compared to what we saw in Paris last week. The intent is there, the crowd is right behind them, but it's that constant balancing act. They have to go and get this tie, but they simply cannot open the door too wide against a Luis Enrique team that carries threat in every moment. Midfield battle has been a real feature, combative, tight and at times a little bit scrappy. But it's in those moments around the penalty areas where the game has really sparked. Early on, Mamardashvili was called into action, backpedalling sharply to deal with an audacious effort from Ousmane Dembele after he initially come racing out to Kvaratskhelia. They're back underway at Anfield, by the way. Dembele again shortly after a sharp turn inside the box. He couldn't quite find the finish after good work from João Neves. At the other end, Liverpool have had their moments too. Safonov with an excellent stop to deny Kerkez after a clever knockdown from Konate, and then a huge defensive intervention from Marquinhos, throwing himself in the way as Van Dijk looked set to pounce inside the 6-yard area on the loose ball. It's been physical, it's been intense, and it's taken its toll as well. Hugo Ekitike stretchered off after going down awkwardly. Not looked a worrying moment, possibly an Achilles injury to the Frenchman, while Nuno Mendes was forced off after struggling on that slick Anfield surface as well. So we've already seen first half changes, and there's been a response from the Liverpool bench at the start of the second half. Alexander Isak and Jeremy Frimpong withdrawn, with Cody Gakpo and Joe Gomez introduced. Fresh legs and perhaps a slight shift in balance as Slot looks to find the spark that turns the pressure into goals. So everything in the balance. And a big 45 minutes ahead for both of these two teams. What's been an intriguing, engrossing and fascinating contest so far. Here's Wirtz, tries the volley across to Salah. And Gravenberch for Gomez. Salah on this right-hand side. There's a Boslai, edge of the box. Squeezes it across to Kerkez. Gravenberch. What's on that left flank now, Ryan Gravenberch? Well, sliding in came Doué, wins the ball back. Tries to get away down the right-hand side. He's been dumped over the touchline by Dominic Szoboszlai, clattering into a pitch-side microphone, did Desiree Doué. He stayed down over there near the advertising hoardings. Liverpool will play on, and no need to stop the game either. He's not on the pitch. Here's Salah on the right-hand side, steps in field, clips one into the box, little flick on the way through. Gakpo tries to juggle, and it's guided behind. Marquinhos with the final touch, was it? But he's still down, Desiree Doué. They were arm in arm. Dominic Szoboszlai just leant on Desiree Doué. He cut it into a ball boy as well over there, the young Frenchman. Just put an arm up to protect him, the ball boy. And did seem to catch Doué. That's away by Safonov. Here comes Gakpo from range. Safonov has to get down low. And Marquinhos alongside him. Cody Gakpo tries to just take it on early. Salah into the middle, another decent chance. Joe Gomez rose highest, couldn't keep his header down, and that one's over the crossbar. A really bright start to this second half from Liverpool. Clever idea from the corner. Joe Gomez just couldn't get over the top of it. Gakpo, nice layoff. Here comes Kerkez. Tried the early cross, charged down by Neves. Doué's gone down. Still suffering the ill effects of that collision with the advertising hoardings as Kerkez battles for space down that left-hand side, runs out of it, and there's a chance for the referee to come across and check on Desiree Doué. Well, there were some question marks over whether Bradley Barcola was able to take part tonight. He was included in the 22-man squad for the game. And he is on the bench. It's not clear what is aggravating Doué. It seems it might be a knee problem. He did land on his knees as he was dumped a little bit unceremoniously over the touchline by Dominik Szoboszlai. As it stands, the PSG supporters are enjoying their trip to Anfield tonight. I'm not sure Luis Enrique is taking quite so much enjoyment as he's seen Nuno Mendes hobble off, and now Desiree Doué looks set to join him on the sidelines. There will be Bradley Barcola to come on in his place. There's his first change of this second half, and he's been missing for a while, Barcola. Out since the last round of this competition against Chelsea, where he scored a goal home and away against the Blues. A really good run of scoring with 5 goals in 6 at that point. Sidelined ever since second week of March, but comes running back on. It's on the far side. It's Canate. Slips that one forward, finds Wirtz in the pocket. Salah right-hand side. Little give and go with Wirtz. Salah, that was a heavy touch and just invited the challenge from Pacho. Might open up for Salah. Pacho across, concedes the corner. Mo Salah's going to take it. Left-footed ball high towards the back post. Safonov punches clear. He's soaring through a group of bodies. Here's Szoboszlai to lift it back towards the far post. Mo Salah's not there. And a hand up an apology from the Liverpool number 11. Sharp work from Pacho to deny him initially, though. Cry of frustration from Salah. And a play on the near side. Liverpool with the throw-in. Dominik Szoboszlai already with the ball in hand. Here's Gravenberch. Driving towards the edge of the box. Gravenberch over the crossbar. It opened up for him. And they're not shot shy in this second half, Liverpool. Few chances already. That one, it was always fading away and over the bar. But he built up a head of steam there, Ryan Gravenberch. Long clearance from Safonov, which is nodded into midfield by Van Dijk. Now he tries to unleash Salah. Pacho underneath it. Gravenberch near halfway. That's off Konate's thigh now. Szoboszlai with the header. Taken down by Wirtz in front of Vitinha. Vitinha chasing him towards that left-hand side. That's the foul. That'll be another free kick for Liverpool. Down goes the German. Ten minutes gone in the second half, and it's Liverpool momentum that's started us off in this second period at Anfield. Rolled down the left-hand side by Szoboszlai. Wirtz will turn onto his right foot. Didn't get the elevation he needed from that cross. It's against Kvaratskhelia, who's hobbling away from the edge of the PSG penalty area. All the way back to Mamardashvili. That's a long clearance up towards Van Dijk. Jumping with Pacho. Now Gravenberch. Van Dijk. McAllister gets in there. Now Gakpo tries to burst away. Down the outside for Salah. Looks for the cutback. Lucas Hernandez, who was one of the two changes in that first half. Nketiah replaced by Salah. Hernandez on foot. Nuno Mendes. Here's Szoboszlai. On the outside is Gomez. Szoboszlai. Salah's being held. Salah spots a run at the back post by Florian Wirtz on Milos Kerkez. Another great chance that he can't take. Just ghosted in at the back post. An inch perfect ball from Mo Salah. I think he might be caught in two minds there, Florian Wirtz. Wasn't sure whether to try and tee it up for Cody Gakpo or take it on himself. Well, they're creating the chances they need here, Liverpool, but they're just not taking them yet. And here's the danger as PSG break away down the other end. Well, that's overrun by Bradley Barcola. And a goal kick, the end result. It's absolutely coming down on Merseyside. Luis Enrique in a waterproof jacket as the heavens have opened, the wind swirling around Anfield. They're doing their utmost, the Liverpool supporters, to try and add to the motivation, as that's good play again by Gravenberch to break it up in the middle, always off balance as he goes charging forward, but somehow still manages to keep the ball for Liverpool. To the right hand side, Salah into the penalty area. Safonov this time aware of the danger and plucks it out of the air with Wirtz lurking at the back post. Quickly bowled out to the right hand side for Hakimi. Now here comes Vitinha, spots the run in behind by Dembele. Konate gets a toe on it. The flag goes up anyway on Ousmane Dembele, who was appealing for a pass back. Van Dijk spots it up and takes it quickly. Here's Szoboszlai. Van Dijk. Gomez. Bounces off Hernandez. Gomez forward. Lovely little improvised layoff by Cody Gakpo. Edge of the penalty area, Gakpo. Towards the back post. Salah is alone, but that's away by Hernandez. Only as far as Gakpo on the edge of the box. Tried to cushion it down to Gomez, who got a little bit further forward than I think Cody Gakpo had realised. The clearance, though, from William Pacho is only as far as Konate. Szoboszlai, right-hand side, Salah. Across the face of the penalty area looking for Wirtz. Picked up by Vitinha. Here's Dominic Szoboszlai. Gomez. Time to open his body up. Ball towards the back post. Gakpo just got sucked under the flight of it. Going to be kept in play on the far side, though, by Kerkez. Here's Gravenberch. Van Dijk. Back to Virgil van Dijk. Central position now is Konate. Inside the PSG half. Steps forward, Ibrahima Konate. Down the outside, Salah again. Right-footed ball. Wirtz can't sort his feet out. Surrounded by 3 or 4 black shirts. Sliding in. Goes Warren Zaire-Emery, shoulder to shoulder now with Florian Wirtz trying to win it back for Liverpool, sliding in Gomez. And there is Pacho to whip it away. Van Dijk with a header on halfway. Kept in play by Konate. Inside to Szoboszlai. It's relentless from Liverpool. Still going Szoboszlai, edge of the penalty area. Tried to disguise the ball. It was read though by Vitinha. And now here's Kvaratskhelia to find Barcola. Kvaratskhelia bursting to the middle of the centre circle. Down the outside, Dembele. Flag has stayed down across the face of goal. An opportunity for PSG. Mamardashvili and Milos Kerkez combine. But the flag is up on the far side. It was Achraf Hakimi who would have been expecting the net to bulge. It's just been Dembele in an offside position, so it would have counted anyway. Georgi Mamardashvili wasn't to know that, neither was Milos Kerkez. That's an exquisite ball from Szoboszlai out to the left-hand side. Here's Florian Wirtz, back to goal on the edge of the box is Cody Gakpo. Wirtz again, Gakpo can turn now, tight angle. Gakpo tries to get the pull back across the 6-yard box, that's against Pacho. Now Barcola near halfway. In the centre circle, here is Zaire Emery. Dembele has space on the left-hand side, Gomez trying to get across to him. Dembele stops, that goes in field again for Kvaratskhelia. An hour played at Anfield. It's still Liverpool 0, Paris Saint-Germain 0, with Vitinha in possession for the visitors. Down the right-hand side by Marquinhos. Kerkez's clearance is miscued, but he finds touch at the very least. A throw in for Paris Saint-Germain. Deep inside Liverpool territory. Returned by João Neves. Good defending though by Milos Kerkez to get in the way. And Marquinhos just jumped through the back of Cody Gakpo to try and get on the end of that. That'll be a free kick for Liverpool inside their own half of the pitch. And just leant into the back of him. It was a good spot from the referee. Kerkez. Long ball forward in the general vicinity of Gakpo, where it will bounce all the way through to Safonov. Safonov with the overarm throw out to the left-hand side. Now it's Gomez. Isak. No, excuse me, Isak's off the pitch, it's Gravenberch. Van Dijk, now here's Gravenberch on the left-hand side. Gravenberch into the penalty area, low effort. Gobbled up at the near post by Safonov. Well, they're preparing a change here, Liverpool. Well, it's the record breaker Rio Ngamoa who's going to be coming on very shortly. He's got a knack for big goals in big moments. How about that from Mamardashvili? He's thrown it into the Paris half of the pitch. The flick on comes from Gakpo, taken over McAllister. Head off to Gravenberch. Now Gomez, playing in the number 10 role. Shot from range. Pinged against Pacho. Maybe not the right decision from the former Charlton man. Here he is again though, Joe Gomez. Salah, Wirtz, laid off. Szoboszlai can hit them from this kind of position. McAllister's gone down in the penalty area and the referee's pointed to the penalty spot. It was William Pacho with a challenge. A huge chance for Liverpool here now to get a foothold in the game and on the scoreboard. Let's have a look. It's clumsy from Pacho. McAllister gets his body in front of the PSG defender. There was a little deflection from Szoboszlai's pass. The video assistant referee Marco Di Bello will have a look at this. Marquinhos is adamant that that is not a penalty. and I can understand his frustrations and where the protests have come from the PSG defenders. He had a good view of it, did Maurizio Mariani, though. Bit soft, but is there enough in that to overturn it? I'm not sure. Well, he's going to be asked to come and have a look at the pitch side monitor. This is a huge moment in the game. McAllister's just nipped in front of Pacho. There is contact. Well, they're currently being shown. He's currently being shown a shot from the other penalty box. I'm not sure he can do much about this unless he gets the right replay. Well, he's made his mind up. He's overturned his decision. Well, he had a view that we didn't. No foul is the decision from the referee. It would have been soft. And frankly, I'm quite surprised to see it overturned. Let off for Paris. Now Cody Gakpo. That is adjudged to be a foul. João Neves in the heart of midfield. And a chance now for Liverpool to get their reinforcement on. That would have been huge. Now Rio Ngamoa comes sprinting on. The 17-year-old. Going to replace Joe Gomez, who came on as a half-time substitute for Jeremy Frimpong. He's played a little bit more than 20 minutes of this second half, and I can only imagine there's a problem for the defender. Well, Dominic Szoboszlai is slotted into that right-back role, which he's become very accustomed to playing in. Well, they've shown enough, especially in this second half, Liverpool, to suggest that they can take something from this game. As the ball is floated down the right-hand side for Salah. Now Wirtz. Can they create another chance here? He'll find Kerkez. And Ngamoa left-hand side. Into the penalty area, little step over. It's away off Hakimi for another corner kick for Liverpool. Well, there's no change to the scoreline in Madrid, where it's still Atletico 1, Barcelona 2. As things stand at the Metropolitano, it will be Atletico reaching the semi-finals at the expense of Barcelona. Szoboszlai into the near post. Oh, good chance again. This time McAllister, who can't flick his header towards goal. He's gone down holding his face. It was Pacho who flung himself at the ball, and in the process he's gone. I think he's almost head-butted the side of Alexis McAllister's head. There's no intent from the PSG defender there. They've really struggled to keep the ball in the second half, PSG, and once again it's given away by Safanov, straight to Szoboszlai. It's Salah heading backwards, finds Szoboszlai. Lifted away by Mamardashvili. Hernandez out of play. Salah takes the throw. Here's Szoboszlai again. Konate. Salah. Gravenberch looks to link up with Salah, tries to bundle his way all the way through at the crucial moment, couldn't keep his footing. There's too many bodies around him. Van Dijk stepping in midfield. Now Gakpo. Ungamoa alongside him. Gakpo tries to force it into the penalty area. Ungamoa shrugs off João Neves. That's a foul, according to the referee. The longer it goes on without Liverpool getting a goal, you suspect that PSG might just cling on to this 2-goal lead. Luis Enrique said they'd come to play, said they'd come to win the tie. Haven't really had a chance since the first half, though. Gakpo just outside the centre circle. That one's laid off to McAllister. Now here's Ibrahima Konate to Szoboszlai. Wirtz down the line for Salah. Pacho comes to meet him. Salah, edge of the box. Gakpo tries to pirouette on the penalty spot. Finds Wirtz. McAllister on the edge of the box against Zaire Emery. Now Kerkez, left-hand side. Ungamoa will take over. Looking for a shooting chance. Ungamoa low! Saved by Safanov and held on to as well. Well, they're really throwing everything they've got at this now, Liverpool. Maciej Safanov with a great save. Arne Slot can't believe his side's luck. 19 minutes left to play. All the way through to Salah. That was intended for Ungamoa. Didn't hear the shout for the teenager. Did Gakpo. Got in the way of that pass. There's Kerkez. Gakpo getting back. Wins it back. Ungamoa, edge of the penalty area. Into the box goes Ungamoa. That's against Neves. Picked up by Hakimi on the right-hand side. Into midfield, laid off by Dembele. Little back heel finds Kvaratskhelia. Return to Ousmane Dembele. Now down the left-hand side comes Bradley Barcola. Szoboszlai getting back into his own box. Barcola pulls it back. Kvaratskhelia. Dembele with a fake shot. There it is. There's the goal. Tucked beyond Mamardashvili, left-footed. A brilliant finish from Ousmane Dembele. They only needed one chance, and surely that's the semi-finals booked. Liverpool were throwing everything they had at Paris Saint-Germain. One quick counter-attack. One sharp piece of footwork and one quite brilliant finish. And the hope and life that this stadium and this crowd has brought them has all but been extinguished. He had too much time on the edge of the box, Ousmane Dembele. A little chop to get away from McAllister. And then slips it between Konate and Gravenberch with a curling effort that finds the bottom corner. Luis Enrique goes hopping away in joy. And even in this stadium, with this history, you can't help but think it's beyond Liverpool now. Ousmane Dembele scores at Anfield for a second successive season. Salah trying to go on the other end. Deflection, Safanov was scampering. The flag's up. Salah was in an offside position. In the aftermath of the goal, Arne Slot has sent Curtis Jones on as a replacement for Alexis McAllister. But that's the quality that PSG possess. They don't need many chances, they don't need much. They've got such quality The other end, Konate sliding in. Now Dembele again, maybe, to really make it worse. Mamardashvili's been left in his tracks. Konate tries to clear it. There's a long ball forward from Safonov down the right-hand side to Barcola. And he laid it off to Dembele when, I think maybe if he'd taken it on himself, it would have been a second for PSG. Dembele tried to recycle it and make another chance, but just got away from him. And you can see just the confidence has been sucked out of Liverpool here, as here comes Vitinha trying to feed Barcola, tries to get there in front of Kerkez. Coming together between the pair on the edge of the penalty area. It was a foul on the Liverpool man, according to the referee. "15 minutes left to play. Konate, Jaboslai. Penny for Arne Slot's thoughts. This was going to be their moment of defiance, their opportunity to really try and get control over their season again. Ended that 3-game losing run with a 2-0 win over Fulham. And now it's all about finishing in the top 5. Games don't get much easier. They're off to Dickinson Hill Stadium at the weekend to face their city rivals. Everton will be hungry for a result. And Palace are the visitors next week. It's Wirtz's ball, stabbed away by Marquinhos. Kerkez on the edge of the penalty area, down the outside, left flank is Ngumoa. Tiptoes his way into the box. Curtis Jones holds it up. Gravenberg. Jaboslai. Salah right hand side. Nice link up with Wirtz. Salah. Neves on the deck, got in the way. Wirtz, that's against Warren Zaire-Emery for another Liverpool corner. By Salah, underneath the crossbar, pushed away by Safonov, smashed away by Vitinha. Kerkez racing after it. Dembele over his shoulder, scooped forward by Mamardashvili. It's Konate. Down the right-hand side is Salah again. Poked away by Pacho. Vitinha fishing forward. Kvaratskhelia on this left-hand side. Denied by Konate. Once again goes down holding his face. Entirely unnecessarily. Kvaratskhelia, he was part of the build-up to that goal. They've done relatively well, Liverpool, in keeping him at bay for the majority of the evening, but even tonight, hasn't quite been within their reach. Gakpo fed by Ngumoa, and Gakpo and Gravenberg, excuse me. Couldn't get his shot on target. Just hurried by Warren Zaire-Emery. He flung himself at it, Ryan Gravenberg. And Paris now preparing a change. Lucas Beraldo, the 22-year-old Brazilian, is going to be coming on, just to add to the defensive numbers. Kerkez, Jaboslai trying to find Gravenberch. Kvaratskhelia beats him to it. Now Barcola near halfway. Here's Neves. Now they're flying forward, PSG. Hakimi. Dembele onto his left. It's against Konate. To the final 10 minutes. Jones. Ngumoa. Jones. Wirtz. Midway through PSG's half of the pitch. Finds Curtis Jones in a good position. Then again, Marquinhos across. And it's back off Curtis Jones for a goal kick, which pretty much sums up Liverpool's night. It was lovely interplay to get there. And there's Marquinhos yet again. But it's Warren Zaire-Emery who's going to wander off. They start looking to the heavens. I do wonder whether he'll still be Liverpool manager at the start of next season. Saving grace for him. Is that they need to finish fifth to qualify for the Champions League next year. As Wirtz is bundled off the ball. Here is Beraldo. He was going to try and slip it past Dembele towards Barcola. Instead, Van Dijk is in the way. Now here comes Florian Wirtz down the right-hand side. Vitinha lost his footing a couple of times. It was João Neves, excuse me. Wirtz. Gravenberch. Szoboszlai, edge of the box. Kerkez. Ngumoa, maybe for Liverpool to finish with a flourish. Ngumoa, he's kept it in play. Back to Gakpo. Jones, edge of the box, tried to return it to Gakpo, who's left seated in the PSG penalty area, looking at the referee, desperate for a penalty. He's not going to get one. Konate links it out down the left-hand side for Ngumoa. Rio Ngumoa unable to make any progress. It's Hakimi that wins it back. Crossfield ball to Dembele on the left-hand side here for PSG. That goes infield. They're in no mood to waste the ball now, Paris. Yellow card has been shown to Ibrahim Konate. I think that's more for the reaction than anything else. Vitinha. It was a turn and a through ball in one swift motion from Kvaratskhelia. Gravenberch. Back to Szoboszlai. Gravenberch. Szoboszlai right hand side again. Left hand side now with Ungamoa. Salah, right corner of the 6-yard box. That's swept away by Marquinhos. Konate. Ungamoa, left-hand side, trying to make his way past Achraf Hakimi, who's forced him over the byline again, and that's another goal kick. Their heads are down now, Liverpool. I understand it too. Gakpo to Salah. Tries to turn it back to Gakpo. Away by Marquinhos. Killer. Salah. Here's Kerkez. Neat turn, nice shot. Straight down Safanov's throat. Well, they deserve at least a goal tonight, Liverpool. They've been good enough for that. They are heading for a Champions League exit. Szoboszlai can watch that out of play. Szoboszlai. Gakpo. Ungamoa. Kerkez. Across to the far post. Salah tried to tee that up for Gakpo, who was running onto it. And here it is, carried clear now by Beraldo. Vitinha. Marquinhos. Pacho. Barcola. Kvaratskhelia. Barcola to finish it. Sliding in Konate. Good challenge. Szoboszlai tries to carry it away. Kvaratskhelia loses out. Swept away by Pacho. Salah. Ungamoa. Into the box. Ungamoa. And it's deflected wide again by Marquinhos. In the 90th minute here. Liverpool's Champions League campaign. It was towards the back post. Konate can't make the corner count. Safanov felt that there was a shove there as well from Ibrahim Konate anyway. Safanov. This kicks up. A play for a throw-in. That'll be a 6 minutes of added time. I think it's quite enough for Liverpool to salvage anything. Anfield has been slowly emptying for the past 15 minutes or so anyway. Still chance for Liverpool to salvage some pride here. They're into added time at the Metropolitano in Madrid as well. And for the second game in a row, Barcelona are down to 10 men. There'll be 8 minutes of time added on. Atletico rather hanging on. Eric Garcia is the man who's been dismissed for Barcelona. Kvaratskhelia, Barcola, Dembele finishes it off. Liverpool dreams dashed by Ousmane Dembele's double. Ousmane Dembele has proved to be the difference tonight. He's not needed many sights of goal. PSG are heading to the semi-finals of the Champions League. For Liverpool, it's another in a long line of damaging defeats in a season that's never really sparked into life. Mamardashvili did all he could to close down the angle. And Luis Enrique loved that. As you would expect. Here comes Fiat. The effort is off target. There are some dejected looking faces in the crowd as the reality sets in. An uneven score as well will feel particularly galling for Arne Slot and his team. And it's the Paris fans making all the noise inside Anfield tonight. Barcola on the far side. Last touch off Kerkez. Kvaratskhelia looking to get on the score sheet. Kerkez recognised the danger. Konate. Will try and get it forward. It's a ball that won't reach Cody Gakpo. It's all the way back to Mamardashvili, the clearance from Pacho. Konate. Here's Szoboszlai on the right-hand side. Salah. We're into the final minute of added time. Szoboszlai again. He's got two in front of him. And Szoboszlai is going to be helped back to his feet by João Neves. And again, he's been excellent. Szoboszlai with the free kick towards the back post. Safonov came, he didn't claim it. On the left-hand side with Van Dijk. Well, the full-time whistle goes at Anfield, and a damaging night for Liverpool. They're out of the Champions League, having fallen short when it mattered most. They threw plenty at it in that first half, that second half as well. The tempo lifted, the pressure built, and there was chance after chance. Balls flashed across the face of goal, half chances that on another night might just have fallen differently. The crowd sensed it, they drove them on, and for long stretches it felt like one goal could tilt the evening. It never came, and instead it was been decided by quality at the other end, and by one man in particular, Ousmane Dembele, with both goals, both carrying their own significance. The first struck from distance outside the box, a reminder of the threat PSG always held when they were being pushed back. A moment that just punctured the momentum and quietened the noise and effectively ended the game there. And the second deep into added time. Liverpool on the hunt for a bit of pride, denied late on. For Arne Slot, there will be pride in parts of the performances, but the inquest will start. They need to throw everything they've got at the league now to ensure they finish in the top five if he is to hold any hopes of remaining as Liverpool manager next season. It'll be a trophy-less campaign for Liverpool, but for PSG they could very well go on to defend their Champions League title. For Luis Enrique and his side, it's about control, resilience and ruthlessness when it mattered. Liverpool gave it a real go tonight, but PSG had the quality, and they look a really tricky side for anyone remaining in this tournament. Full time at Anfield, and it's finished. Liverpool 0, PSG 2.